Okay, it just took me 5 minutes to figure out how to, one, change the camera angle, and two, how to open this off-brand pack of Zins. I've never had a Zin or anything that's like a synthetic nicotine before like this, so I'm gonna see like how actually effective this is. I want to see, I got the lowest dose. I just want to see how bad it is. I want to have an experience with it. No, this is not sponsored by any form of nicotine or tobacco company, and I do not condone this, but I wanted to try it. I wanted to try and get away from the vape for once. So my name's Rendi. This is Rendi versus the world. My real name's Blake. These are just long sessions to where I ramble to the camera for probably about a 45-minute period of time. See how bad this is. Kind of scary. It kind of burns. But subscribe to the channel. I was hoping the lower nicotine content would not burn. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these just raw talks to the camera. They're kind of therapeutic for me. I'm kind of just doing this for myself, not for anyone else. But if something comes out of it, like more subscriptions, more views, I'll happily take that. If I can do this full time someday, talking to a camera, I think I would be in love. So there is going to be a more creative, poetic, philosophy-based video on this channel, probably within the next week. I'm going to just test the waters with it. It's like a 4-minute short form content video. I've already made most of it. I just have to put the B-roll and the visuals in it. But I wrote something out. I added a bunch of text effects and captions to it. So it's about halfway done. It got my creative juices flowing a bit. I enjoyed making it, so I want to try that out as well soon. This is interesting. I've never delved into anything oral like this, so I wonder kind of like how intense the effects are going to be. Kind of like freaks me out actually. But yeah, be prepared for that video. I'm like on one topic, then I'm on another one. So this is actually probably going to, how do I say this? Freak me out a bit here. You're gonna see me probably go into a panic attack because any new experience for me, not a panic attack, but like I'd say like some form of like anxiety, because as I'm doing this, any new real experience for me is very kind of quite frightening, especially when it comes to drugs. Yes, nicotine is a drug. I know it's not that scary, but like, I don't know. I feel like I need the experience, as even though it's not a good one, I still need to experience it, see what it's like, chill for a bit. But I do these when I'm having like really bad anxiety. I've probably done it in some of my other videos. You'll see me like move my eyebrow up and down like this, or my ears, or like kind of like rub my face some. It's gotten a lot better over the years, but it used to be really bad. I used to rub the forehead a lot and squint a lot like this, like with my eyes. And I actually had these forehead lines here for like the longest time. I kind of reversed them with a bunch of skincare routines I took on. I do like an hour skincare routine every other day. Okay, this is giving me like hard anxiety. But it's kind of reversed the lines like in my head. The lines in my head. Literally, I used to have this giant crevice in the top of my forehead, like even like 2 years ago. And okay, I'm gonna take this out for a bit. Just kind of see what that does. Just what I had just there. Because I don't know. I feel like I'm tripping out. I feel like it's just the lights in this room. The shadows like of the tripod next to me are yellow because I have one light that's like purple, one light that's like a whitish color. And yeah, I'm just kind of bugging out. I go into this derealized state a lot too when I'm having a panic or anxiety attack. So Bozo's snoring in the corner over there. But yeah, my legs moving up and down. You can't see that, but I'm actually gonna rinse my mouth out. Hold up. Okay, I'm actually such a pussy. Like, you should have seen me the first time I had to take like prescription medication. I just was like full on shaking in bed, couldn't move, couldn't function, couldn't think. I've dealt with this a lot of my life. I think a lot of it has to do with the way I was raised. I was, taught like a lot from my mother that holistic medicine was like the go-to for everything, and everything else is bad besides maybe Tylenol from time to time. Um, but yeah, it's not bad. It's not all bad. Some pharmaceuticals are good, some are bad. How long did I have that in my mouth for? See, I'm questioning everything right now. Everything feels floaty, bad. I feel bad. So I guess we're gonna just record ourselves having a panic attack probably, because this is what it's what's feeling like is coming on right now. Um, this is kind of used to be my natural state all the time. Kind of used to it though, not gonna lie. It's like I know what's happening. I know what's causing the anxiety. That I know it's all in my head. Probability of it actually causing any detrimental effect to me is near a decimal of a decimal of a decimal. It's just like I can't get out the oh, but you're telling me there's a chance thought in my head right now, and I'm not even consciously thinking it, but my subconscious is. And this is more so what it looks like when I'm not even in full panic mode, but like probably like 50% into it. I'm at a 50% threshold. I can get to about 100%, and that's probably when I'm on this futon shaking uncontrollably from adrenaline rush being released throughout my body. But yes, I love my natural state of being, just highly anxious and worried about everything. I think it has helped me though. It's helped me with what I do for work, analyze very critical things and think outside of the box and be very creative. But like I said many times over, it's not, in the end, I don't know if it's worth it. I'd almost rather be like Bob, who goes to work every day from 8 to 5 and doesn't have a care in the world, and gets home and drinks a beer. Unfortunately though, my mind is just a cesspool of terrible thoughts and great thoughts. I experience everything to an insane degree both ways. I get very happy. I don't have BPD. I get very happy. I get very sad. I don't get angry really at all though. I'm actually known for my high threshold of patience on the game I play, if you're new here. Because I really don't feel anger. And if I do, it's so passing. It's like a fleeting 5 minutes maximum of anger. It usually turns into sadness, but I feel heightened everything. I'm a very naturally emotionally heightened person, even as a child. And I think that's kind of why I avoided a lot of contact as a child too, talking about earlier how I didn't really speak during school and how I'm kind of just learning to talk now after all this time. A lot of it was just to avoid the conflicting emotions that I would experience. But yeah. Zins, don't do them. They'll make you have a panic attack. Just kidding. Not really. I'm probably completely fine. I didn't even have that in my mouth long enough to probably feel anything. It's just all in my head at this point. It's crazy how powerful the mind can be, how it can just play tricks on you like that. How your mind can raise your blood pressure, for instance, how it can lower your immune system. Like, these are, physiological things that have been examined when you're under stress. There's so much detriment to yourself. I believe there was one study done in it was Korean or Vietnamese prisoner of war camps where they were holding Americans, and one group was given like basically everything they wanted, but no motivation to do anything, like no hope from their family. They were holding letters from their family. The other group was given almost no food and no comfortable lifestyle, but they were given communication with the people they love and hope for the future. And it turned out the people with the less, I believe, physiological needs met, but the more mental and long-term goal-driven oriented needs met, were actually better off. And a lot of the people in the camp that were given all the food they wanted, all the recreation they wanted, but no communication or hope, and telling them they were always just going to do the same thing over and over again. Some of them died in their sleep they weren't medically examined. Who knows? Loss of hope, loss of meaning. I feel like the mind, once again, I'm a huge proponent of the mind. The mind has this very, very strong impact on not just your thought process mentally, but your physical health. I have high blood pressure. I probably have high blood pressure because of what I've had to deal with, but it's almost constantly high. I can get myself into a state where I'm laying down and calm in meditation, like 110/70, and it's great. But if I'm sitting up and not thinking about relaxing, because I'm always at a constant threshold of here, my blood pressure is typically like 140/95 or 90. It's always a bit elevated, like hypertension stage 1, you know. So a lot of what I've dealt with mentally has projected onto the physical. Like I said, I got literal 4 headlines from just panic attacks over hundreds, if not thousands of them over a course of a long period of time. So your mental health is extremely important. If you take nothing away from this video, take that away. You know, what's funny is I'm doing this whole video format once again as a therapeutic thing, and it's helping me learn how to speak. It's helping me learn how to identify my problems and show others that, you know, people maybe experience these things that you do as well. But the other thing I wanted to get at is it's okay to be weird, I think, because I'm very weird. I wanted to originally talk about that topic or another topic. I guess I'll talk about all of it. Like I said, I go into these really with an idea and then I end up going way off topic. So one, it's okay to be weird. Like, don't take what other people say so judgmentally is what I've been learning a lot lately. A lot of the people who judge you are not worthy of judging you. They're just, you know, not all, but a lot are sad, lonely people who make themselves feel better by making you feel worse. That's very common. I know everyone tells everyone this, but it's more common than you think. A lot of the people in this world are very unintelligent, sad people, and I do believe the world is suffering, and there's a reason why there's so many unintelligent people. Evolutionarily speaking, I think it's better to not have a higher level of intelligence because that increases your suffering and therefore tends to decrease your chance of survival via, you know, things as bad as the S word or through high blood pressure, right? So the less intelligence you have, the better you are almost in the physical aspect. I feel like most of the time. It's kind of funny because you talk about like meatheads, and you're thinking, oh, these people are bulked up, like, but they're really stupid. And it's funny because that kind of fits that stereotype. You're able to focus on your physical health so much because you have no other worries or concerns. Like, you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna get fucking, you know, bulked up. That's not always the case, but there's like the stereotypical meathead that you think about is like very not intelligent. I'm getting way off topic. See, I'm just like letting thoughts I have right now just flow through me. I don't care about the reception on this video. I don't care that I said I was going to talk about a topic 2 seconds ago and I just didn't talk anything about it. I'm just, I'm in a derealized state. When I do these videos, I'm always in a derealized state where everything feels surreal and bad. But I'm learning to just speak through it. Like, I will go, like, when you're in a derealized state, I don't know if you know this, but time passes usually quickly. Sometimes for some people it passes by slowly, but for me, it passes by very quickly. Like, everything I'm saying right now feels automated, and I don't even remember what I said like 5 minutes ago. Like, because it feels like I'm in a dream state. It feels like time has been passing very quickly. So I'll go back and look at these videos at the end, and I'll say like, wow, did I say that? When did I say this? When did I say that? It's like a very surreal experience watching these back just for myself. But I feel like, yeah, putting the pressure of an audience of 100 or a few thousand people on me is good. This is Nibbler, by the way, in my cute little terrier mix. because it does maybe speed up the process of me being able to communicate my thoughts and opinions a little bit more than what I would typically do if I was just talking to nobody. It puts the pressure on me to at least formulate a sentence properly and not completely mumble and fumble my words all together, even though I'm not staying on topic. But it's not something I've been used to my whole life. And hello, Bozo. My other dog's here too. They're both here. What is it, buddy? What do you guys want? I absolutely adore my pets. They once again have helped me through a lot of things. He hasn't. This guy has not always. He's a little thick in the head, but he's very cute and goofy. Yeah, she's very goofy. He's got the goofiest mannerisms ever. And, you know, he'll make me feel happy even though he'll trample over me sometimes when I'm like having a panic attack in my bed and drop toys on my head. So he's not always the he's not very emotionally intelligent. No, you don't want that zen, buddy. Yeah, you don't want that. Maybe I should, you know, maybe that's what he needs is I'm kidding. He's got a lot. He's like literally trampling over Nibbler right now. She's still over here. He's got a lot of just feeling, no brain, you know. But I think that's absolutely adorable of him to have, because he just feels happiness too. See, this guy here, evolutionarily speaking, he's developed pretty well because he has no care in the world. He doesn't have a worry. He's not stressed out. He's just happy all the time. Yes, he is. And don't do that, buddy. But I don't know. It's just, that's why I love animals so much. Like, especially dumb ones. Nibbler's kind of smart. She's kind of like got some cat energy to her. But Bozo here, Nibbler is good at comforting me and knowing when I need like emotional support versus like needs to back off, and she kind of does her own thing. But he's just fun to look at and realize there are joys in life, you know, and reminds you that, you know, this is why I like some dogs better than humans, because they're stupid. Maybe I just need to find like more stupid people to hang around. I'm kidding. But ignorance is bliss, right? As well, ignorance, speaking back on the topic of not caring what other people think. If you're too dumb to care what other people think, then you're going to be happy and not have to, you won't even have that initial worry. That thought won't ever cross your mind. But I've had to deal with that my whole life, caring about what other people think constantly. But once I got out in a gold suit and recorded myself doing dumb things, it kind of helped with that off the bat. It's like throw yourself into the fire kind of thing. And realize that at the end of the day, you're never going to see these people again. It's not going to matter if you look like ridiculous. But I don't know. It's obviously, if you're doing something for work, don't throw yourself into the fire, because you got to rely on that for like your hierarchy of needs, the fundamental financial and food and all of that. So you don't want to mess up your whole life. But I feel like I failed the Zen experiment, so now we're gonna pull out the vape I bought as a backup, because I had a feeling that would happen. And we're gonna start vaping again. I haven't had a vape in 5 days. This is gonna be for the video here. I got a cherry ice flavor this time. I actually got tired of the Diet Cola flavor, surprisingly. That's not bad. It's not bad. But I still do have those panic attacks, those anxiety attacks. Not just in social situations, more so just for sometimes reasons I don't even know. Sometimes when I'm taking medicine like that, for sure. Well, that's not even medicine. When I'm experiencing something new that has some chemical anatomy to it, it'll definitely happen with that. But I'm able to nowadays snap myself out of it rather than go full blown mental about it and be on this futon here like spazzing out, which is good. I don't know how I've really done that, honestly. I don't know. I feel like people who are experiencing this want an answer sometimes, like how did you know, overcome that feeling? I'm gonna try it again. Exposure is probably a lot of it. I'm gonna try it again. We're gonna see what happens. Exposure is a lot of it. Just time, natural exposure, even like over the course of time, realizing, you know, well, it doesn't matter what people think of me, or realizing, oh, this isn't going to kill me because I've experienced the same like mental state. I've experienced these same physical conditions. Our Bozo's like hacking up a furball. I've experienced these same symptoms of anxiety over the course of the last 5 years. It hasn't killed me then. So it's like, as you experience it and as you realize, it's like, oh, this has happened 1,000 times. Even if you're not trying to expose yourself to anxiety, I feel like naturally over time, if you've dealt with a high level of it intensely for a long time, it's just going to kind of correct itself a little bit, is what I realized. As I say that, and the burn comes back here with the zen in my lip. So does the anxiety, but maybe not as intensely this time. And then we'll try it again later and again later till I'm finally like content with what I'm doing here. Even though I probably shouldn't want to be content with this, as this is a bad habit as well. But I want to see that I can do it, and I can get over my weird fear of, you know, my heart rate going up too fast. Like, I think if I really deep dive into the fear of like what's going on here with the stupid fucking zen in my lip of all things, that has an extremely low dose, by the way. I think the fear is like my heart rate's gonna go up, and then I'm gonna have a heart attack. Like, that's like deep down, if I think about my subconscious thoughts here, that's probably what I'm thinking of, and that's why I'm freaking out. It all leads to death or like a weird finite. My dogs are hey, can you not play fight now? We're trying to record. Thank you. It all comes down to the fear of death at the end of the day. Sometimes the fear of just uncomfortability, is that even a word? The fear of just feeling bad, because I know how bad it feels when I'm in a full-blown panic. And that's why I took it out then, because I was like, I don't want to experience this right now. But sometimes it's good to experience every now and then. It gives you a reminder of how crazy the mind can be. Just kidding. It's good to experience, because the more you experience it, the more you realize, you know, I'm more powerful. My body is more powerful than I think it is. My body is meant for survival, and it will overcome this. No matter how uncomfortable it feels, no matter if I'm feeling like death right now, it will overcome this. And so that is experience. It's yin and yang. Without the suffering, there would be no happiness. And once again, back to the emotional aspect, without intense suffering like I've experienced, there would be no intense happiness. It's not mania, perhaps, but I think it's an appreciation and a complete flip, because I can experience both things in their intense ways. That's what I've learned, at least over the last few years. But as it sits in my lip longer, I get more uncomfortable. But that's just how it goes. Okay. The actual topic I wanted to talk about, though, was like history, repeating history, and how you got to look at it from a standpoint of like, oh, don't repeat it. Like, you want to learn from history, but not you don't want to like, you want to go about it very cautiously, because even from like a theoretical history standpoint, like we're looking at like this war versus this modern era war, it's a different time and place. There's different things going on. There's different factors. You can't look at it from a black and white perspective on anything. There's always people always have good and bad sides of them, and historical figures, times and history have good and bad sides of them. And there's all different kinds of factors weighing in. The same thing, why I'm talking about this, is the same thing I think goes into trauma. A lot of people use their history and their past trauma kind of as an excuse to prejudge, determine everyone to be bad who's a certain way. And I saw this recently on on a video that popped up on my Facebook recommendations, and it was about love bombing. I hate this word, love bombing. There's this woman who's talking about how love bombing, like, you got to pace yourself in a relationship, and you can't have these people like say all these nice things to you. I'm like, it depends. Do you feel emotions like the other person or not? The other person can be feeling these emotions. It doesn't mean they're necessarily, I gotta take this out again, manipulating you to get something out of you. Maybe they just are intensely into you and they learn very quickly about you and if they like you or not. Especially autistic people. And one of the comments was, a lot of them were, what if my, you know, partner that I've been seeing is neurodivergent or autistic? And I can kind of relate to this. Like, I think they might be love bombing me, but I think they might just also be obsessed with me, or, you know, they feel emotions very intensely, like me. And you know, I weighed in on it and I got a lot of likes in the response, because she was talking about this guy she's been seeing. She's wary of him because she has past trauma, but he's been like saying all these nice things to her and like projecting into the future and stuff. And he's only seen her for 2 months. I'm like, 2 months is quite a while for one. For two, he's probably, sorry if I'm like twitching because of the Zen, and or my thoughts about the Zen. And for two, the whole, God, sorry, I'm like losing my train of thought. Whenever you derealize like this, it's hard to stay on point too. That's why I'm all over the place on this one here. See, like, okay, what was I even talking about? Autism, love bombing. For two, they get kind of obsessive. They feel very intensely. And this woman was questioning because of her past trauma. She had learned from her past a certain thing. Seems fishy and like he's manipulating me. But I'm like, is he really manipulating you? I weighed in on it. I'm like, from my perspective, when I fall for someone hard, fast, and I'm very into them. It doesn't mean I'm trying to manipulate something out of them. It means I just have very strong feelings. I like being open. I like oversharing with that person because I really care about that person. It just means you don't feel the same about them. You might eventually like a normal person versus a neurodivergent or autistic person. You know, eventually they'll catch up maybe. But I feel like love bombing is, and like a lot of these buzzwords these days are just used as excuses to warp your past trauma and your past experiences with, you know, something that fits that bill. Like, you may have been manipulated in the past with one person ever, you know, and that's terrible, but at least you know, I guess you know what to watch out for, but you can also be cautionary and not take everything the same. Like, the person who's doing it now is not saying the exact same things as the person who did it last. They're a different person entirely to begin with. All of that. Fuck. Why am I like this? Okay, I need to calm down. Breathe. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of these buzzwords are just things that people have picked up as traumas, and instead of use them cautionarily, they've just applied one term to them, blanket statement to them, and made it to where everyone who's now giving me compliments, you know, a week into the relationship is now love bombing me and trying to manipulate something on me. But maybe they just really like you. Maybe they really like you. There's always that possibility, and I think it's more so usually that than the latter. And I've had this happen to me. One time I was talking to a woman for like a few days, and I just wished her a beautiful day, and she's like, enough with the love bombing, LOL. And I just blocked her. I was just like, if you're gonna like throw that on me just because I wish you a good day, I'm not gonna have it. Like, I need to have someone who can love as intensely as me, and, you know, or at least someday have the promise to love as intensely as me. It doesn't have to be out the bad, but if you're already suspecting me of doing something heinous, you already have a precognition of me. You haven't known me long enough to have that precognition, and you're just basing something that you've had off a past experience and applying it to me despite not yet knowing me, and having assumptions about me. So in my experience, I don't think anyone should be, you know, accused of something if they've never committed. Like, the whole thing about love bombing is they're saying all these things to manipulate you, but if they've never manipulated you, then how are they love bombing you? And a lot of the women and men too think that they're being love bombed when nothing's been manipulated out of them. They're like, oh, but you're attempting to. Like, how do you know that? You're mind reading. You're assuming. That's not a thing. I also had it as well with someone I talked to for like 2 weeks. I'd seen in person, and I told them like they look very beautiful, and they're like, oh, I just can't do this. It's, you know, it's moving too fast. It's feeling very love bombing. I'm like, I can't just give you a genuine compliment, like I'm not just saying things to say them. I say them because I mean them. But because in the past you may have said someone who said something to say something to get something out of you, you're immediately applying that to me, and I don't appreciate that. So it was just like a no. It was a lose-lose situation. People need to learn from their past and watch for the signs, but they don't need to be accusatory and mind reading whenever they're applying that past to a new person or a new event, and they have to come at it with a new set of eyes, but with a cautionary tale to back these new set of eyes, not just accusations and assumptions. They need to just, it's a mixture of the two. You can't just learn from the past, or if you don't learn from the past, you don't repeat the past, or if you don't learn from the past, you repeat the past. It's not always true. There's always different times, places, scenarios, people, all of that. And sure, it tells you some things about life and about human tendencies by looking at the past, and some things are innately true, such as if you typically ignore someone constantly, then it's never going to have a good reception. Like throughout all of history, that's true. Or if you do something to belittle someone constantly, repetitively, it's not going to have good reception. Throughout all of history, that's true. Even in it's been the cause for even a lot of major wars. But same thing. There's things you can learn from your past and build on, and then there's a whole nother approach where you just take everything from your past as a fact, as solid as it's going to be a fact in the future at a different time and a different place with a different person, and it's all going to be the same. I feel like people need to distinguish the two things, because there's a benefit, and there is also a very bad issue that can arise if you look at the past as concrete rather than come at it with a more casual stance. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Anyways, sorry, when I'm derealized like this, by the way, this heightened, once again, my thoughts are everywhere. But so this is going to be a very scattered video, but once again, you can fall asleep to it if you want to. It's for me. It can be for you, I guess, too, but it's for me. So just venting, getting thoughts out. Other experiences I've had is trust issues, because people, especially women or even men who have been cheated on, will automatically have trust issues because it's been a trauma, a relationship trauma they've experienced in their past. And you see a lot of the time they automatically are accusatory, and they're like, oh, you've been active on this app. And like, I've had that happen one time, and I'm like, no, yeah, I was active. I had my phone sitting on my statue of David while I was cleaning my house, like unlocked. That's why I was active. I'd been cleaning my house for an hour, like, and I come back to it because it was charging on this thing. I had my wall outlet charger plugged into it, and I was like, no, I wasn't talking to anyone else. Like, if you really want to know, like, I took a picture. I'm like, it was on this statue. Like, I'm not. Why does it matter? Even if I was active, like, why would you accuse me of that? So, people tend to overlearn from their past, and even historically, like people calling people Nazis, for instance, nowadays, they just presumptively assume one person is like this person because of certain traits, certain attributes they've attributed to from one time period to another. But there's many differences, especially just in a century's time span. Like in terms of the environments, the social constructs, the acceptable things in society, the way everything is looked at. You can't just blanket term people things from historical points of views as well, unless they actually identify as that. You can't just accuse people of things, I feel like, unless you truly know the person and they've admitted or done something word for word, tit for tat, exactly as you suspect in every single possible way. I just feel like it's not healthy. So, but on the other hand, you can learn what to look out for. You can be cautionary, And some of these experiences build you as a person. Once again, some of the bad ones, even without the very bad, you can't have the very good. I feel like in life, this is true, yin and yang once again. And life is suffering, but without the suffering, you know, you wouldn't be able to experience those highs in life as well. So that's my talk. It's been all over the place today. Once again, subscribe to the channel if you want to. Or you can just be like, what the hell did I just listen to as well? And then unsubscribe. Either way is fine. I'm just projecting. Which I feel like is a healthy thing to do, personally. Some people would disagree. But I'm just putting my words out there that almost automate from my mind. Especially in this mental state. By the way, speaking of assuming and this mental state, there was a podcast I did after that whole dupe fiasco on my other channel. I believe it was on the OSR's podcast, ran by Mint Mad Cow and Rakesy and Rice Cup. A lot of the people in the comments were like, look at his hand gestures and like how he's flinching and how he's not looking at the camera. That must mean he's lying. Like, these people are now psychological detectives, assuming that someone is doing something just because of the way he's moving or acting, when in reality, that was the worst time of my life. I had very bad anxiety, panic every day, all day. And I think before that interview, I was like, hold on guys, I gotta calm down. I was in my chair, like leaned all the way back, just like panicking and rubbing my face. And I was doing it throughout the interview, and people assumed I was just a liar because of it. But that in reality, I was struggling with something completely different and not able to articulate my thoughts properly, probably as well, which didn't help. But assumptions suck. Assumptions are bad. Unless you have concrete evidence that the person fully admits to what you think they're doing. I don't know. I just don't think it's worth it, ever. You gotta let your past go at times. You gotta learn from it, but you gotta let it go. And that's the moral of today's story. That identify your triggers, like that Zen over there. Embrace the uncomfortability. Know that at one point you'll have a great time of happiness there soon to compensate for it. And don't be a meathead. I'm kidding. I think when I was talking about the meathead stereotype earlier, it was like, I'm thinking of the actual person who's stereotypically, you know, very big without much brain. And it's funny because they're very healthy. They're very fit. And they don't have a care in the world. And sometimes I wish I was like that. Like Bozo over here. He's got a lot of strength to him too. He can pull a toy with me. He won't let go. He can pull me to the ground if he wants to. And he's only like 50 pounds. And he's got hip dysplasia, which makes no sense. But he's a strong man. He's got the muscular strength, but not the muscle in his brain. At least not as much as my other dog over here. So yeah, subscribe to the channel again. I'm going to make a lot of shorts out of this. I'm going to cut it up. I also have, once again, a more scripted thing. It's about half done right now. I'm going to put out in a few days on this channel. It's got captions, nice editing. If you've seen the channel Horses, it kind of reminds me of that, but it's very short format, 4 minutes long. I wrote something out. I narrated it properly, cut up, not mumbled. And it was very fun making it so far. I'm only halfway done. I got to put B-roll pictures and editing into it, but that should probably only take another couple hours. So I'm looking forward to releasing that. And I want some feedback on that. And I think with that video, I actually will look at the feedback because it's more so something structured and something I am doing. Although as an artistic venture for other people to witness and experience and criticize and all of that. So look forward to that. And I'll talk to you all again soon. Thanks for watching me freak out and talk about assumptions. Learning from the past and social anxiety and dealing with it. And medical anxiety. And everything. And heightened emotions. And autism. And love bombing. What else did we cover? That was a wide spread of topics I somehow just weaved together there. I probably did a very poor job at it, but I don't even remember. Once again, time right now is passing by extremely fast. I don't even remember half the stuff I said or how I worded it. So, gonna cut the camera off. Gonna, you know, sync the audio up. Not even gonna, probably not gonna watch this back for a few days, but I'll just upload it, create some shorts out of it, and yeah, I'll see you guys again soon. Peace out.